Hey guys, welcome to today's show. Today we're talking about the myth of motivation. And I love this because I've dropped the ball many times on this in my own life, and I see it all the time with coaching clients, with our physical therapy clients, with just friends I talk to. And waiting for motivation to strike is something that just plagues people when it comes to reaching their goals. And there's a lot of beliefs around what motivation is, and a lot of maybe assumptions upon when motivation can strike, and using motivation to propel us to success using willpower. And I want to talk about some of those myths here today and give you guys some practical tips, some practical strategies to take away with you to fight these common myths and find out what to do instead when it comes to reaching your goals. And relying on motivation is not the answer. So there's your spoiler alert. But if you're the type of person that waits for motivation to strike, you're going to be at risk for falling short of your most important goals and results in your life. So today, like I said, I want to clear up any myths, I want to talk about what to do instead, and help you guys achieve the results that matter most in your health and in your life. Now, there's a quote I love. To be honest, I don't really know who this author is. William Somerset Maugham. Yeah, I'm probably totally butchering his name. Some author from way back when, before my time. I came across this in a couple different books I've read, though. And he talks about inspiration. And he says, I write only when inspiration strikes. Fortunately, it strikes every morning at 9 o'clock sharp. Now, how different is that from how a lot of us approach motivation? How many of us go and we make a cup of coffee, and then we check our phone, and then we start to get to our work, but an email pops up or notification pops up, we get distracted, and then suddenly hours have gone by and we're like, okay, I gotta bring myself back into it. I gotta get motivated again. I gotta get myself ready to do this work or go to the gym or eat healthy. And this happens on micro scales day to day all the time. And it happens on macro scales too, in terms of letting weeks get away, letting months get away. And all of a sudden you realize, hey, maybe I haven't been focusing on the right things, or maybe I haven't taken action in the areas that I said I was going to a month ago, what I said I was going to at the start of 2020. And I know, guys, it's been a weird year, but waiting for motivation to strike is going to keep you in that cycle. Whether we can blame it on this year, we can blame it on COVID, we can blame it on circumstances, but really this comes down to the ability to take action. And what that author's talking about in that quote of that everyday inspiration strikes at 9 o'clock sharp, there's habits and systems that have been built that can create that motivation, that can create that feeling of motivation, and that ability to bias towards action. Because simply thinking about it, simply wishing for it, simply hoping it'll just happen when the situation is just right, is not the same as being disciplined and forming habits that will actually get you to where you want to go. Motivation is short-lived, and if you rely on that alone, like I said, you're going to fall short of the goals that matter most in your life. You'll end up being dictated and pushed around by other people's schedules, other people's agendas, and it's going to keep you from doing what really matters the most. And that can be health goals. That might be getting back in shape, might be eating well, might be getting strong in the gym, or getting back into shape in that way, getting out of pain. It might be a work goal, a career goal, starting a business. There could be plenty of things that is your thing that you're waiting for motivation for. And I'm here to tell you today that I know it's hard to take action when you're not feeling motivated, but it's also possible to overcome with the right habits, and actually essential to do so to reach the things that matter the most. Now, I've fallen into this trap. Like I said at the beginning, I've fallen into waiting for the time to be right, whether that's waiting to start a business. Like, oh, I just need to wait for things to align right. I need to wait to have the right relationships. I need to wait to have the certain amount of knowledge that I need to start this business. I need to have everything in line. And what happens when that becomes overwhelming? Because trust me, starting a business is overwhelming. And when it becomes overwhelming, then we tend to procrastinate, and we tend to put things off, and we tend to say, oh, I didn't get it done today, but tomorrow I'll get a better night's sleep. I'll have my coffee ready, and I'll be ready for it. And I use business as an example because that's been something that has been a challenge for me in finding motivation to not just from the outset, get the business off the ground and get started, but now it becomes a thing day in and day out, every single day, especially with things that are running well for us right now. So we have our performance physical therapy clinic local to Southern California, and then the coaching clients I work with remotely. So our Men Made for More coaching program, and things are going well, but that is a danger zone, because then there's the potential for complacency. There's the potential for, I'm not really feeling like doing X today. I'm not really feeling like doing Y today. I can get away with putting these things off for a day. I can probably get away with putting these things off for a week. But when that continues to be your default, then you're going to really struggle to make meaningful progress. I'm talking about things that really drive the needle forward, push the needle forward in the areas that matter most. And for you, that might be a health and fitness goal. That might be, I've got these extra 5 to 10 pounds that I want to lose, but I've got this vacation coming up and I've got people coming in town to visit, and there's these parties or holidays are coming up. Again, I just want to warn you guys that these are traps that you have to avoid, because these will keep you in the cycle for a long period of time. And you'll find out that in 6 months, you're in the same place you were, or sometimes even worse than you were before. So I want you guys to stay on top of this. And I want to talk about these common myths and how to avoid them. First myth that I want to touch on is that some people are more motivated than others. I know a lot of people tell me all the time, they're like, you're so motivated. You're so disciplined. You're just always so, eager to work on these goals, these things that people might not find fun or people might have resistance to. But I struggle. Trust me, guys, believe me, I struggle with the same resistance. I have the same desire to procrastinate. I have the same desire to, get lost on social media. I have the same desire to just not work some days, just not go to the gym, not do those things. But I've put habits in place to allow myself to succeed, to really take failure off the table by doing what the author said: when 9 o'clock comes, it's inspiration strikes. And I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit, of how to start to form some of those systems and those habits to do just that. The second myth is, I hear this a lot too, and I hear this from trainers, I hear this from coaches. It's, you just don't want it bad enough, or you just have to try harder. And I do think, sure, there's something to putting the effort in, sucking it up, doing the hard things. But that alone is not what makes motivation. If you're having trouble being motivated, it's not because you're not a motivated person. It's not because you don't want it bad enough. It's not because you're not trying hard. James Clear said this in Atomic Habits. He says, people don't rise to the level of their goals, but they fall to the level of their systems. And I think this is so true, because we've all set those big goals. We've all said, this is the year I get healthy. This is the year I start that business. This is the year I save money for a house or for retirement. And time comes and goes. Time doesn't wait for anyone. And we're stuck in the same place. And that's not due to you not being motivated. That's not due to even setting a bad goal. That's just due to not having the proper habits and systems in place to make that goal a reality. Now, when we talk systems, what do I mean by that? Those are systems, or habits that we have in our lives to make things possible. That's routines, that's habits, that's taking some of the thought power, the energy around some of the simple things, and, like I said, setting yourself up for success, actually removing some choices to remove the barriers and allow for an easier time to just get started. So let's use the example of getting healthy and you're having trouble going to the gym. That would be something like, if you're planning to work out after work, instead of coming home, changing there, sitting on the couch for a little bit, getting stuck having dinner, and then being like, well, I'm not going to go today. That would be going straight to the gym, or changing your clothes before you leave work, coming home and doing a home workout immediately when you come home. Systems for eating well could be, instead of just hoping that food magically appears in a healthy way on your table, that's meal planning, that's grocery shopping, it's making sure you have healthy snacks on hand so that you don't give in to the temptation that's going to come up. Of course, if you're stressed, you're hungry, you come home and there's nothing ready, you're going to reach for the less healthy option. So those are just a couple examples of what that would look like, of making sure that your systems match your goals, and that can help be a way in motivation on its own. And for me with work, that's not giving myself the option to check email and see where that leads me. That's not checking my phone first thing in the morning. That's not waking up and deciding in the moment of like, what am I going to do today? There's a plan going into it. And then as soon as the workday starts, it's ready to work. Last myth I want to talk about is that you should wait for motivation to strike to take action. This one's huge. See this all the time. Have to work with this all the time with coaching clients, with our PT clients. You need to act first and motivation will follow. People always have this backwards. They wait for motivation and they're like, once I'm motivated, then I'll act. And that's totally backwards. Action creates motivation to follow. Once you start acting, even if it's imperfect action, then over time, motivation tends to follow. So it's not the other way around. Make sure to be a person that becomes a do it now person, a take action person, do your hard thing first person. This one's huge for people. A lot of people put off their hardest thing until the end of the day, and you bet your motivation is going to be gone when that comes. So final myth is that we can call on motivation or we can call on willpower whenever we want. We can choose how to implement that. And it's just not the case. When we think we're going to be motivated, even when situation's perfect, sometimes we're not. And I'm sure you ran into other times where you would think you didn't sleep well, things are off, you're not feeling it, and you get started on doing something, and all of a sudden you're flooded with this motivation to keep going. So it's not consistent with our mood, it's not consistent with our energy, and it's fleeting. Depending on where you look, sometimes it's only minutes worth of motivation you get. At most, it's only a few days, even for your biggest, most exciting goals. If you don't immediately start acting and implement those systems that are going to help you get there, then motivation is going to come and go, and you're going to get caught waiting for action to happen, where it's not going to happen unless you make that first move. So guys, I hope this was helpful. Said something that I talk with so many guys on, and I think it's so important, because if you continue to wait for motivation, you're going to continue to put off your goals. You're going to continue to put off getting the results that you are totally capable of getting. You guys are more than capable. This isn't an issue with ability. This isn't an issue with motivation. It's an issue with having the right habits, the right systems, and the right processes in place to set you up for success. So instead of waiting for motivation to strike, go ahead and take action. Let motivation follow. If you guys need help, I'm here for you. Work with clients all the time in our high performance health coaching program. This is something it's nothing to be ashamed of. If you guys need help, if you need accountability, if you need guidance, if you need those things, I'm here to help you guys. Make sure to reach out. If you guys need anything, you can head to menmadeformore.com to check out our high performance health coaching program and apply for a phone call there. If you guys want to get on the phone and chat more about your goals, we'd be happy to help you out. And make sure to check out the link in the bio. I put together the high performance health starter kit. We talk about the 5 foundations you need to address to get healthy, strong, and confident in your health. So head to the link in the bio to check that out as well. But whatever you do, guys, whatever your goals are, get started on it. Let action lead motivation. Thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate all of you, and I'll talk to you soon.